English learners. Welcome back to our English entertainment class, your cozy little English place where we talk about daily life, real conversations, relationships, and everyday situations in fun and easy American English.
And I'm John. It's always a pleasure to spend some time with you. Seriously, whether you're listening while walking, cleaning your room, drinking coffee, or just hiding from your responsibilities, thank you for being here.
Oh, hiding from responsibilities, John? That's way too relatable.
I know, we all do it sometimes, but today's topic, it's not exactly funny. It's something that touches millions of families around the world.
Yeah, today's conversation is very close to my heart. We're talking about something that so many daughters quietly carry inside. Why do parents sometimes seem like they don't understand their daughters? Why do daughters often feel unheard, misunderstood, or even guilty just for expressing themselves? If you've ever cried in your room because you felt your parents didn't listen to you, this episode is for you.
And if you're a parent listening today, maybe this conversation can help you understand your daughter a little better. So grab your favorite drink, get comfortable, and let's have an honest conversation together.
Emma, can I ask you something personal? Uh-oh, that sounds dangerous already.
No, nothing embarrassing. Have you ever felt like your parents heard your words, but never really understood your feelings?
Yeah, many times. You know what's funny? Sometimes I'd explain everything, every little detail, but somehow the conversation always ended with me feeling guilty.
Guilty.
Yeah, instead of feeling understood, I'd walk away thinking, maybe I'm asking for too much. Maybe I'm being dramatic. Honestly, that hurts.
Wow. I think many daughters feel exactly the same. Sometimes parents don't realize that advice isn't always what their daughter needs. Sometimes she simply needs someone to listen.
Exactly. Parents often jump straight into solving the problem, but daughters, especially teenagers or young women, sometimes just want someone to say, I understand. I'm here. Tell me more.
That's a huge difference. Listening and fixing are not the same thing.
You know what made me sad growing up? Whenever I talked about something emotional, I'd hear things like, you're too sensitive, you're overthinking, stop crying, oh, come on, it's not a big deal. But to me, it was a big deal.
Hmm, that's actually a very important point. What feels small to one person may feel enormous to someone else. Feelings don't follow logic.
Exactly. Sometimes daughters aren't asking parents to agree with everything. They're simply asking, please don't make me feel silly for feeling this way.
Jenel, can I share something?
Of course.
I have a younger sister. Growing up, my dad loved her more than anything. He worked hard, he protected her, he wanted the best for her. But he almost never asked, how are you feeling? He'd ask, did you finish your homework? Are your grades good? Did you eat? Those are important questions, but they're not emotional questions.
Wow, that's actually deeper than people realize, because caring for someone's body isn't always the same as caring for their heart.
Exactly. Parents often show love through actions. Daughters sometimes receive love through words, and that's where the misunderstanding begins.
Oh, that's actually a psychological concept. It's called love language. An explanation: a love language means the different ways people naturally express and receive love. Some people show love by buying gifts, some through hugs, some by spending time together, others through encouraging words. If two people have different love languages, they may both love each other deeply, yet still feel unloved.
That's such a good explanation. And honestly, many families don't even realize this difference exists.
Here's something else. Parents sometimes say, we're doing all this for your future. And daughters hear, so my feelings don't matter today. Those are completely different messages.
Can I confess something? When I was younger, I used to think parents always knew exactly what they were doing. Now that I'm older, I realize they're figuring life out too.
Yes. Parents aren't born with a parenting manual. They make mistakes. Sometimes they repeat the same parenting style they experienced from their own parents.
That's called generational patterns. Explanation. A generational pattern is a habit, behavior, or way of raising children that gets passed from one generation to another. Sometimes they're healthy, sometimes they're not.
Exactly. A father who never received emotional support may struggle to give emotional support, not because he doesn't love his daughter, but because nobody ever taught him how.
That's heartbreaking because love can exist without emotional communication.
But let's also be honest. Some parents use guilt. Small pause.
Those are completely different messages. Oh, you mean sentences like, after everything we've done for you, you've changed, you don't love this family anymore, we sacrificed everything for you.
Yeah, those words hurt. Because suddenly, the conversation isn't about solving the problem anymore. It's about making the daughter feel responsible for everyone else's emotions.
That's called guilt tripping. Explanation. Guilt tripping means making someone feel guilty so they'll do what you want, even if they didn't do anything wrong. Sometimes people don't even realize they're doing it.
Exactly. And after hearing those words enough times, many daughters stop sharing their feelings completely. Not because they don't care, but because they're tired of feeling guilty every single time they speak.
You know, I once asked my sister, "Why don't you tell mom what's bothering you?" She looked at me and said something I'll never forget.
What did she say?
She said, "Because every time I explain my feelings, I end up apologizing for having them." That sentence still stays with me today.
Oh, that sentence just hit me right in the heart. Because, I know there are so many daughters listening right now thinking, yup, that's exactly me.
Yeah. Sometimes silence isn't peace. Sometimes silence is simply exhaustion. A daughter becomes quiet because she's tired of explaining the same feelings over and over again.
You know what used to happen to me? Whenever I tried to explain why I felt hurt, someone would interrupt me halfway through. Then I'd hear, "No, that's not what happened. You've remembered it wrong. You're making things bigger than they really are." And I'd think, then why did it hurt so much?
That's a really important question. Just because someone didn't intend to hurt you doesn't mean you weren't hurt. Intentions and impact are two different things.
Ooh, that's a good one. Let's explain that. Explanation. Intention means what someone wanted to do. Impact means what actually happened and how it affected another person. A parent may intend to protect their daughter, but their words might still make her feel controlled or misunderstood.
Exactly. Parents aren't usually villains. Most of them truly love their children, but love without understanding can still leave emotional scars.
Scars. Not every scar is visible. Some are hidden inside the heart. Some stay for years.
Emma, can I ask another question?
John, you're asking a lot of questions today. Are you secretly interviewing me?
Maybe just a little. You're making this episode interesting.
Oh, is that your way of giving me a compliment?
Maybe. Don't let it get to your head.
Wow. Ladies and gentlemen, did everyone hear that? He gives one tiny compliment, then immediately takes it back.
Aw, I had to keep you humble.
Keep dreaming, John.
Okay. Back to the serious topic. Have you ever felt that your parents loved the version of you they imagined instead of the real you?
Yeah, that one hurts. Sometimes parents already have a picture in their minds. They imagine the perfect daughter, Perfect grades, perfect behavior, perfect career, perfect marriage, perfect everything. But real daughters aren't perfect. We're human. We make mistakes, we change, we grow.
That's called expectation. Explanation. An expectation is a belief that something should happen a certain way. High expectations can motivate people, but unrealistic expectations can create pressure and disappointment.
Exactly. Sometimes daughters don't feel loved for who they are. They feel loved only when they succeed, only when they obey, only when they make everyone proud.
Hmm, that's called conditional love. Explanation. Conditional love means feeling accepted only when you meet certain conditions or expectations. Healthy love should not disappear because someone made a mistake.
Imagine hearing, I'm proud of you, only after getting good grades, only after winning, only after doing exactly what everyone wanted. Eventually, you begin to believe, I have to earn love.
And that's a heavy belief to carry into adulthood, because later in life, those daughters often become adults who constantly try to please everyone.
Ugh, people pleasing. Let's explain that too. Explanation. A people pleaser is someone who constantly tries to make everyone happy, even if it means ignoring their own needs or feelings. They often fear disappointing others.
I used to apologize if someone bumped into me.
Wait, seriously? Unfortunately, yes. Someone would hit my shoulder and I'd say, oh, sorry.
That's actually adorable.
Ew, don't call it adorable. It was embarrassing.
A little adorable.
John, behave. We're discussing serious emotions here.
Sorry, I couldn't help it.
Anyway, many daughters grow up believing they must always keep everyone happy. Parents happy, teachers happy, friends happy, relatives happy, neighbors happy, literally everyone except themselves.
That's heartbreaking because you can't pour from an empty cup. Explanation. You can't pour from an empty cup means you cannot keep giving energy, love, and care to others if you're emotionally exhausted yourself.
Mm, I wish more daughters heard that growing up. Taking care of yourself isn't selfish, it's necessary.
Here's another reason parents sometimes don't understand their daughters. Different generations grew up in completely different worlds.
Absolutely. Our parents didn't grow up with social media, online bullying, constant comparison, 24-hour pressure, or millions of strangers judging every little thing.
Right. When parents say just ignore them, sometimes it's not that easy because today the internet follows you everywhere.
Exactly. Back then, school ended. Now, the bullying can continue on your phone all night long.
That's why daughters today often carry invisible stress that parents never experienced themselves.
Mm. And then parents ask, why are you always tired? Why are you always on your phone? Sometimes the phone isn't entertainment. Sometimes it's the place where all the pressure lives.
That's a really interesting perspective.
But let's also be fair. Parents worry a lot. Sometimes they become strict because they're scared, not because they're cruel.
Exactly. Fear can look like control. A father might say, you can't go there, not because he wants to ruin your happiness, but because he's imagining every possible danger.
Mm, that's called being overprotective. Explanation. Overprotective means trying so hard to keep someone safe that you accidentally limit their freedom or independence.
The difficult part is the daughter feels trapped, the parent feels protective. Both believe they're right.
And neither one feels understood. That's where communication begins to break down.
Emma, if you could tell every parent one thing, just one sentence, what would it be?
I'd say, please don't listen just to reply, listen to understand. That one change could save so many relationships.
Throughout today's conversation, one thing keeps coming back to my mind. Most daughters aren't asking their parents to be perfect. They're simply asking to be heard, to be respected, to feel safe enough to share what's inside their hearts.
Exactly. Sometimes people think daughters want complete freedom with no rules, but that's usually not true. Most daughters want guidance, not constant judgment. They want protection, not control. They want conversations, not lectures.
That's a beautiful way to put it. Guidance builds confidence. Judgment builds fear.
And fear creates distance. When daughters become afraid of being criticized every time they speak, they slowly stop sharing. First, they stop talking about school, then friendships, then dreams, then heartbreaks. Eventually, their parents don't know what's happening in their lives anymore.
And that's one of the saddest parts. Parents sometimes say, "My daughter never talks to me anymore." But trust isn't built in one big moment. It's built through hundreds of little conversations where someone feels safe.
Exactly. Safety isn't just physical, it's emotional too. A daughter should feel that she can make a mistake without losing love. She should feel that asking questions won't automatically lead to punishment or shame.
Let's teach one more useful phrase today. Explanation. To walk on eggshells. This idiom means feeling nervous because you're afraid that anything you say might upset someone. Example. I always felt like I was walking on eggshells whenever I tried to tell my parents how I really felt.
Oh, I think many people understand that feeling. You're carefully choosing every single word, thinking, if I say this, will they get angry? If I cry, will they call me dramatic? If I disagree, will they think I'm disrespectful? That's exhausting.
It really is. But here's something important for every daughter listening. Your feelings matter. Your voice matters. And wanting to be understood does not make you weak or selfish.
And I'd like to say something to parents, too. If your daughter opens up to you, please remember she isn't handing you a problem to solve. She's handing you her trust. Please take care of it.
Wow, that's probably my favorite sentence from today's episode.
Really? I guess I finally impressed you.
Maybe a little. Don't get too confident.
Oh, come on. There you go again. One compliment, then one tiny tease.
Before we finish, let's leave everyone with one final thought. Families don't become stronger because they never disagree. They become stronger because they keep choosing love, patience, forgiveness, and honest conversations.
And relationships grow one conversation at a time. If today's episode encourages even one daughter to feel less alone, or helps even one parent understand their child a little better, then this conversation was worth having.
Closing reflection. If your relationship with your parents isn't where you wish it could be, please don't lose hope. Some relationships heal slowly. Some conversations take courage. Sometimes the first step is simply listening to each other with open hearts.
And if you're a daughter who's struggling right now, we want you to remember this. You are more than your grades. You are more than other people's expectations. You are worthy of kindness, respect, and love, not because you're perfect, but because you're you.
Thank you so much for spending this time with us. We truly appreciate every listener from every part of the world.
Before we say goodbye, we'd love to hear from you. Think about these questions and, if you'd like, share your thoughts in the comments. 1. Have you ever felt misunderstood by your parents? What happened? 2. What's one thing you wish your parents understood about you? 3. If you're a parent, what's the biggest lesson you've learned from raising your children? 4. What's one conversation you've always wanted to have with your family but haven't yet? And 5. What advice would you give another daughter who feels unheard? Your story might help someone else realize they're not alone.
Thanks again for listening. Take care of yourself, be patient with the people you love, and never stop learning and growing.
Until next time, keep practicing your English, keep believing in yourself, and remember, every meaningful conversation begins with someone willing to listen. Bye, everyone.
Haha, bye. We'll see you in the next episode.